this right here was this was a haymaker. So it turns out that DDG was actually granted the motion, but a certain somebody put out news that it got denied.
You don't even realize what you're watching at first. It just looks like another comment thread, a few emojis, a subtle like, a clapback that most people would miss if they weren't paying attention. But this isn't just drama, it's the beginning of a full emotional unraveling. One that has Halle Bailey at the center, her composure hanging by a thread, and the internet on fire. It started with India Love. She wasn't loud about it, just a quiet show of support. A repost here, a like there, a quote that felt far too specific to be accidental. She didn't say DDG's name, but she didn't have to. The message was clear. She was on his side, or at the very least, she wasn't standing with Halle. And when you've spent months watching Halle try to protect her peace, raise her baby in silence, and ignore the noise, seeing someone she once called a friend lift up the man she just escaped from, that cuts deep. So when Halle responded, it wasn't filtered or polished. It was raw. A post that didn't mention names, but you could feel the fire under every word. Don't smile in my face, then ride with the enemy. My silence was never weakness, it was grace. That was it. No tags, no back and forth, but the damage had been done. India's comment section exploded. Hundreds of fans accusing her of betrayal, others defending her right to speak. Some even claimed this was all a misunderstanding, but the tension was impossible to ignore. And then came the breakdown. Not a video, not a tweet, just a single live story with Halle's voice shaking as she whispered, "Y'all don't know what I've been through." She didn't cry, she didn't scream, but it was the quiet that hit the hardest. You could hear it in the pauses, the heartbreak, the confusion, the deep betrayal that doesn't make headlines, but stays with you forever. And now people are wondering, if your friend backed someone who broke you, would you speak out or stay silent to protect your peace? You scroll through your feed, and it's chaos. Tweets flying, screenshots everywhere. One fan digs up old photos of Halle and India laughing at brunch. Another drops a throwback video of the two hugging backstage at an award show. This ain't just drama, someone writes. This is betrayal. What makes it worse is how silent India Love remains. No statement, no clarification, just posts about her skincare line and gym routines, like nothing ever happened. But you can feel the shift. Every like she gets is met with 3 comments calling her fake. And when someone finally tags her under Halle's cryptic post with a single word, disappointed, she deletes the comment within minutes. Meanwhile, DDG is quiet too. No tweets, no subtweets, just a photo of him in the studio with the caption, "Focused." But that post doesn't land the way he wants. Instead, the comments flood in. "You're focused while your baby mama's breaking down? Tell India to post you again. Seems like that's working for you." The silence only fuels the storm. Halle hasn't gone live again since that night, but fans say she's been spotted in the background of her sister Chloe's IG story. No makeup, hoodie on, head down. It's the most relatable image people have seen of her in weeks, and that's when the deeper questions start hitting. If Halle, who rarely speaks, rarely responds, finally broke her silence, what really happened behind the scenes? What did India know? And why did she choose now to support DDG? Because whether you think India was just being neutral or believe she picked a side, one thing is clear. When a woman stays quiet for months and then finally speaks, are we really listening? Or are we too busy judging how loud she had to get? You wake up the next morning expecting the storm to have passed, maybe a few updates, maybe a new headline, but instead it's worse. The blogs are now in it, anonymous sources, close friends, even old co-workers, all piping up with whispers about what really went down between Halle, India, and DDG behind the scenes. The most viral post doesn't come from Halle. It's a thread from a woman claiming to have been on set with India last fall. She says she overheard India saying she never believed Halle's version of the story anyway. No proof, no timestamps. But it doesn't matter. The internet runs with it. The thread racks up 2 million views in 12 hours. Halle's fans go nuclear. Suddenly, it's not just betrayal, it's gaslighting. It's character assassination. And yet, still no response from India. Still no apology, no clarification. Just silence. But this time, it's Halle's sister Chloe who steps in. She doesn't name names, she doesn't raise her voice, but in her story she posts a single quote. "Sometimes the ones clapping for you the loudest are praying you fall the hardest." It hits like a brick. Fans immediately connect the dots, and in the comments the tone shifts again. From sympathy to protectiveness. People aren't just angry for Halle anymore, they're angry with her. They start demanding brands cut ties with India. They tag her under every partnership, asking why someone who allegedly tore another woman down during postpartum is still being sponsored. Some influencers try to defend her, others quietly unfollow. And by that night, India disables her comments. And now people are asking the hard question. If silence is a choice, is staying quiet when someone you hurt is breaking down just as loud as the act itself? You think the worst is over. until the court documents start circulating. They're not leaked, they're public. Custody filings tied to DDG and Halle's ongoing legal battle. At first, they seem standard. Time-sharing agreements, visitation hours, child support modifications. But then someone points out a detail buried in the fine print. DDG allegedly listed India Love as a character witness. That's when it all clicks. The timing, the support, the silence. Screenshots explode across social media, side-by-sides of India's subtle posts next to court timestamps. A tweet goes viral. She wasn't being supportive, she was building a narrative. This was planned. Others call it a reach. Some urge people to stop dragging her through assumptions, but it's too late. The public perception has already shifted. You read through the comments and feel the tension thick in the air. One user writes, "Imagine watching your former friend help your ex fight for custody of your child. That's not drama, that's war." Another adds, "The worst kind of betrayal isn't loud, it's strategic." By midday, Halle posts a photo. No caption, just her holding her baby, both of them facing away from the camera, staring at the ocean. It's peaceful. Almost too peaceful. But people dissect every pixel. Some zoom in on the jewelry, others quote Drake lyrics underneath it, but everyone agrees. It's not just a photo, it's a message. Meanwhile, India's brand partners begin quietly distancing themselves. One company issues a vague statement about reassessing influencer values. Her name is removed from a flyer within 24 hours. And while her profile is still up, the shine is fading. You check India's page again, half expecting her to finally say something. Anything. But there's nothing, just an old reel resurfaced to the top of her grid, with the comments now locked. Her bio's been scrubbed too. No business inquiries, no quotes, just a first name and a blinking cursor in people's minds, wondering who the real person behind the post has been this whole time. But then comes a twist no one saw coming. A woman claiming to be a former friend of both Halle and India goes live. She doesn't say much, no names, no lawsuits, but she says enough to make jaws drop. Some of y'all would be sick if you knew the real reason this whole fallout started. It ain't about DDG, it's about control. The comment section explodes. Some call her out for clout chasing. Others beg her to drop the full story. But the damage is done. The seed is planted. Suddenly, people start piecing together an entirely different theory. That India's support wasn't just personal, that it was strategic. That DDG and his team had been quietly aligning influencers to sway public opinion, knowing a custody battle could turn ugly. That the friendship between Halle and India had already been fractured long before this, and the posts were just the final straw. Meanwhile, DDG posts a cryptic tweet, "Can't break what you didn't build." It's only 5 words, but 5 is enough. Within minutes, it's screenshotted and reposted everywhere. Fans interpret it as a direct shot at Halle. Others see it as him distancing himself from India altogether. Nobody really knows what it means, and that's exactly why it hit so hard. And now the silence feels heavier than any statement could. If people are telling their truth in fragments, how do you know who's being honest and who's just playing the long game? By the end of the week, something shifts. You feel it. Not because of another live or post, but because the tone online has changed. What started as shock and betrayal is now something deeper. Discomfort. A new wave of commentary floods TikTok and Instagram reels. Not about Halle, not about India, not even about DDG directly, but about the cost of being silent when a woman speaks her truth. People begin revisiting old interviews, digging up footage of Halle brushing off questions, dodging press, laughing awkwardly when asked about her relationship. The clues were there all along, and now, for the first time, everyone sees them clearly. A therapist with 500,000 followers posts a video captioned, "Why Halle's live wasn't drama, it was survival mode." It goes viral. Stitch after stitch floods in, mostly women, some holding their babies, some wiping away tears, all nodding along to one shared emotion. I've been there. Meanwhile, a paparazzi video leaks. Halle walking through an airport with her baby, surrounded by fans, security close behind. You see her smile, but it's forced. You see the hug she gives a young girl. Warm, gentle, but her eyes are glassy. It's the kind of tired that makeup can't cover. And as she turns away from the cameras, someone zooms in. Her lips move just barely. I'm so done with all of it. The clip spreads like wildfire. Not because it's explosive, but because it's real. You realize this isn't just a celebrity story anymore. It's about how fast people judge, how quickly loyalty turns into entertainment, and how easily someone's breakdown becomes clickbait. And now people are asking themselves, when someone finally crumbles in public, were we part of what broke them? Or were we too busy watching to even notice? It's quiet now. No new statements, no more lives. India hasn't posted in days. Halle's stayed off Twitter. DDG's feed is nothing but links to his latest music. Each post met with comments that have nothing to do with the song. But the silence doesn't mean resolution. It just means people are left to make their own conclusions. Podcasts are now covering the situation like a case study, not in gossip segments, but in full-length discussions about loyalty, motherhood, and influence. One viral clip features a panel of women breaking down what they call the Halle effect, when someone chooses peace for months and the world punishes them the moment they break that silence. You can feel the tension ripple beyond just the fan base. Other celebrities start to unfollow. A-list actresses drop vague quotes about protecting energy. Influencers post black screens with soft music and captions like, "Every betrayal starts with trust." Even brands that once worked with both women begin reposting content focused on empathy and resilience, like they're choosing sides without ever naming names. But what stings most? The people you once thought were closest, watching them move differently when your world starts to crumble. That's the undertone in every conversation now. Not just the betrayal, but how long it was brewing while everyone smiled for the cameras. No dramatic exits, no final statements, just a shift. And now you're left sitting with the hardest question of all. If your silence protected them for months and they still chose to betray you, what was all that grace even for? Because in a world that rewards chaos and punishes dignity, who's really winning? The one who speaks out or the one who holds it all in until there's nothing left to protect?